Alrighty. Hello and welcome everybody to today's session where we're going to be talking everything Google Maps. I'm going to be going over what I like to call the Google Maps playbook, where I'm going to go through how to get ranked on the Google Maps, how to avoid being penalized, and really just how to show up on Google in the maps in today's day and age. And also, I wanted to point out, it seems like Gutters is getting really big, right? Like it seems like every 2 or 3 weeks, there's a new guy with a truck and a machine showing up, trying to take some of our market share, trying to, beat us out on Google. And so what I'm going to share a little bit further into the webinar, into the training, is some of that delta, right? Some of those things that can really position yourself uh, above the competition, really beat out the competition that might be doing a lot of these same traditional things for Google Maps. So I tried to think of some really interesting things that we could be doing to really make ourselves unique, make ourselves stand out. So super excited to get into this. Really, the way that I like to look at digital marketing for gutter businesses is through what I like to call the accelerated growth roadmap. And so, as you can see, it's 9 clear steps to triple your sales by getting your internet marketing right. And there's really 3 columns in these 9 steps, or that these 9 steps are housed in. So first, we obviously have driving leads. We want to be keeping our pipelines full on a consistent monthly basis, right? We don't want to have dry seasons. We don't want to have no calls coming in. So we have to keep those leads coming. And we can do that through organic, getting our website ranked, showing up on the Google Maps, which is what we're talking about today. And then obviously profitably tapping into the world of paid advertising through Google or through Meta, and also database remarketing, right? Taking our current database of previous customers and sending them offers, trying to reactivate them into new paying customers. And then we have to maximize conversion, right? Because we can send as many leads as we would like into the business, but if we're not converting those leads at the maximum possible percentage, then we're really not taking advantage of those leads. And so it all starts with it's a solid website, right? A website that's built to convert, built to turn visitors into callers and eventually into sales. Obviously, having a great reputation, right? Driving online reviews from our happy customers so that we can show that we are a reputable company, reputable gutter business that people want to do business with, right? And then also automation, making sure that our leads are getting followed up with consistently and quickly, and doing that through automation so we don't have to bog down our office staff with some of the mundane things. And then obviously we want to optimize for results, right? So we need to know how much we're spending on marketing, getting really clear on where that's going between traditional and between digital, whether that's going to SEO, whether that's going to Google Ads, getting clear on that, knowing what our average cost per lead is, and really understanding what we're getting in return, because none of us want to spend money on a website, money on paid ads, unless we're getting something in return, right? So we want to make sure that we know exactly what that ROI is. And what we're going to be covering today in regards to Google Maps is over here in the organic side, right? Getting your website ranked and showing up in the map pack, right? And organic is going to be our lowest cost, highest quality lead. So we want to make sure that we're really dialing in our organic strategy to make sure that we can really scale the gutter business effectively without having to spend a bajillion dollars on things like Angie or Google Ads or whatever it might be. So what we're going to cover today is the latest updates with the Google Map listing. It seems like things are always kind of shifting and changing around. So I'll cover some of the latest updates. Want to show you our proven model for getting ranked in the top 3 pack, as well with the 5 things that could be actually preventing you from ranking today. And then I'll share some of the best tools that you can use to systematize some of the heavy lifting and really free up some of your personal time. So with that being said, who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, if you don't know who I am, my name is George Poladichuk. I'm the founder and CEO of Gutterwise Marketing. And I started this business because back in the day when I was a gutter salesman, I noticed that there was a lot of holes in the gutter industry that I could fill with my gutter expertise. And so I started this company, Gutterwise. And when I was a gutter salesman, I had a close rate of over 80%, and I was able to generate more than $40,000 a month in revenue alone for the business that I worked for. As well, in Gutterwise, we work with gutter contractors across the country, right? So we've been in some of the most competitive markets, and we know what works and what doesn't. We've been in California, Texas, Michigan, all throughout the country. And so we kind of understand all these different nuances with all these different markets. And also, I live, breathe, and eat marketing. It's one of my passions. It's something that I really enjoy doing. As well with Gutterwise, I am also pursuing a bachelor's degree in marketing, which in today's day and age is really focused towards digital because that's just the way of the world these days. And also, this is what we do, right? As Gutterwise, we are a digital marketing agency for gutter contractors where our whole goal is to help grow and scale gutter businesses by more effectively marketing online. And our mission, our future vision is to help 100 gutter businesses within the next 3 years grow their sales and increase their profits by a direct result of our services, right? So this is kind of what we do. This is why I think I have a little bit of expertise and a little bit of authority in talking about this, and why I think a lot of the tips that I'm going to give you guys today are really actionable, things that you can actually do yourself to make the needle move. So before we dive in, I'm also going to take just a quick second. I need to close the office door here. Sorry about that, guys. Um, Before we dive in, we need to ask the question, do Google Maps matter, right? Like I said, it seems like the search page is always changing. We have local service ads and Google Guaranteed showing up at the top now, and more paid ads than ever showing up, and the organic results are moving down, the Google Map results are moving down. And so, do Google Maps even matter anymore? Well, I wanted to share some research that I had found with you that supports why I think it does. So this was a study done by Moz, and it's a recent study that looked at home service type businesses, and they had found that 44% of your customers are going towards the local three pack, the top three map results on Google when searching for home service type services, compared to just 8% for only organic search results. And even further, Bright Local had found that 70% of customers are going to the local three pack when searching on mobile devices. And as we know, mobile's just getting bigger and bigger. More and more people are getting mobile phones. More and more people are searching on their mobile devices. And 70% of those people are going towards the top three map results. And even further dialing in, Backlinko had found that nearly 20% of clicks are going towards the top one position in Google Maps. That's 20%. That is a huge percentage of customers going towards just the top 1% in Google Maps rather than going into all the other options that they might have. So that's a huge advantage that you might have if you're showing up in the top result in Maps when it comes to all these really important keywords that we need for gutter businesses, right? So yes, I do think Google Maps matters. And clearly the research supports that and it drives calls. And you really can't be relying on paid advertising and pay-per-click alone because ideally the goal for every gutter business should be to own the first page, right? We want to be owning the first page in Google. And what do I mean by that? We want to be showing up for Google Ads at the top of the search results. We want to be showing up in the top three map result spots. We want to be showing up in the organic search results right below the maps. And ideally, we also want to be showing up in these third-party listing sites like Angie, like Nextdoor, like Yelp. And I know there's a lot of controversy around, is Angie really even that worth it? Do they, they're kind of scammy, lawsuits and all these crazy things. To each their own. But what I do know is the more times that we can show up in front of the customers, the more times that we can show up in front of Google, and the more omnipresent that we can be in our online presence, the more likely someone is to give us their business rather than a competitor, right? And our research has actually found that if you show up in at least two of these spots, you more than double your chances of getting that person's business rather than, showing up in one or none. So really, you want to be owning the first page because like I mentioned, it's not just organic, it's not just paid, it's not just all of these things, it's a combination of all of them, right? But moving forward, I wanted to cover some of the biggest changes that we're seeing in the Google Maps within the past 4 or 5 years or so. About 4 or 5 years ago, the Google Maps listing used to have 7 results. Now it only has 3, which significantly reduces your chances of being listed on the top page. Google is also now serving paid ads in the map results, right? So the sponsored little sections of the Google Maps are now live, and you should be taking advantage of that if you're not already. It's a great strategy to implement if you're not already using it in your pay-per-click strategy. As well, Google Home Services, Google Local Service Ads, LSAs are live in most major markets across the United States and Canada, and I assume worldwide now. So that can drastically impact kind of where things are showing up on the search results page and kind of how things are organized. So I just wanted to cover that real quick. But almost more importantly, I wanted to talk about what you could actually be doing today that's hurting your ranking on maps. So the first thing, I'm just going to dive right into this. The first thing is you need an office in the city that you're targeting, right? It used to be back in the day where you could use a PO box, or you could use your baby mama's house or your baby daddy's house, doesn't really matter. And you could use that address as kind of the basis of your business and put it on your Google business profile, and it would be fine and you could rank. But those days are long gone, right? Now Google has caught on to that really easily, and you need an office, a local office in the city that you are targeting for multiple reasons. Google's verification methods are very different now than from what they used to be. So you need to be able to prove that you're in an office in a physical location, and they want to serve local businesses, so they need to make sure that you are actually in the city that you say you're in. A ton of things, but you need an office in the city that you're targeting. Also, have you ever tried to spam Google with fake locations? Um, Back in the day, and sometimes even today, there are agencies like us, but not like us because we don't do this, that thought that it might be the best idea for their clients to create these fake locations in some of the surrounding cities, and get them to rank, and so that they can a um, have a better ranking in their area. And this has gone to show that it doesn't work, right? Like, this is Google caught onto this really quickly, and they've actually been able to reduce fake locations, reduce fake Google business profile listings by 70% since 2017. And so if you've done this in the past, or are currently doing it, it could be significantly hurting your rankings on maps. And if you are doing this currently, you should immediately go out and delete all of those fake listings and really only have one true listing that you're focusing on. Uh, Inconsistent name, address, and phone number across the web could also be hurting your rankings on maps. Like I said, Google wants to serve the best option for their customers, and so they want to serve local businesses that are trustworthy, and having a consistent name, address, and phone number across the website on all these different citations, on all the different directory sites, is really important. This is something that I'm going to dive into a little bit deeper, and I'm going to harp on throughout the training, but this is something extremely important. And then also, have you spammed city or keywords in your company name in the Google business profile? Um, this is kind of a gray area. I actually just saw something the other day where an agency in a different industry, not gutters, had recommended that their clients and their niche actually do this, right? Add keywords, add cities into the Google business profile to help give them a bump, right? And I'm not going to lie to you, doing this, adding, 123 gutters in Miami, or 123 seamless gutter installation, cleaning, and gutter guards in Miami, Florida, doing that has shown to give a noticeable lift in rankings when it comes to Google Maps. But there's a big caveat here. You should not be doing this unless your legalized business name, or you're doing business as, is shown as your um, is shown with these cities and keywords, because it is strictly listed in Google's policy that you have to list your legalized business name, or whatever your DBA is, in the Google business profile business name section, right? So if you try and spam these keywords or cities into that, it can really harm your Google business profile if that's not your actual business name, right? And if you were to do this, I would recommend doing the DBA, getting the legalized name, but this can often come with a lot of challenges. Oftentimes you have to change signage and rewrap your trucks and change your website and change all your social profiles. And so I really don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, but some people think it is, and really to each their own on that regard. And then also, obviously, do you have enough reviews, right? We know as gutter business owners that reviews are one of the main driving factors of our business today, and they are a huge player when it comes to where you actually show up on Google. And so we want to make sure that we have enough consistent quality reviews coming in across the web. So I'm going to dive into our proven formula for getting ranked on Google Maps. I just want to check in first real quick. Um, I know that there is a few. Just want to make sure that everyone is still good in the, I can't see the Zoom recording when I'm sharing my screen. So, it's, I have to make sure that everything's good over here. Okay. Looks like we're all good. Everyone's doing okay. Perfect. I'm going to take a drink of water real quick. Thank you all for being here. Okay. Back to it. So this is our proven formula for getting ranked on the Google Maps that we have seen work time and time again. And so I'm going to go into detail into each one of these things a little bit more later, but I'm going to first quickly just go over them so that you have an idea. We want to be claiming and optimizing our Google business profile. And like I said, I'm going to be going over in detail how to do this and the best practices for it in a little bit. But we want to make sure that we are manually claiming and optimizing our actual Google business profile. You can do this through Google Business Profile Manager. So we want to make sure that we are doing that ourselves. Again, we want to be building name, address, and phone number consistency across the web on all these different third-party listings and directory sites like Nextdoor, like Yelp, like Better Business Bureau, like Angie. We want to make sure that our business name, our address, and our phone number is consistent across all of these platforms. And then obviously, we want to be getting lots of high quality reviews, right? This is one of the biggest factors that will help you get ranked on Google Maps and in your business in general, right? Like you having a lot of high quality reviews will do a lot more than just bring you more business, right? And I'll get into that in a little bit as well. And then obviously, what we've, or not obviously, actually, what we found is that getting your on-page SEO is a crucial part of getting ranked in the Google Maps because having that context really helps Google place you in the correct category, right? So the services that you name on your Google Business Profile and just the things that you mention on your Google Business Profile are referenced back to your website, and making sure that those two things match and having an effective on-page SEO strategy is really important to provide that context for Google as well. And when you think about it, it all boils down to trust, right? Because Google, in and of itself, is a business, right? They are a business whose goal is to serve their customers with value and generate revenue, just like me and you, right? And so the way that they serve their customers with value is providing the best result for whatever question or whatever thing that that searcher might be looking for, right? And they, because if they're able to serve the best result for that and they do a good job, that searcher keeps coming back to Google, right? Instead of going to use AI, instead of going to use Bing, instead of going to use all these other search engines that are cropping up, they keep coming back to Google. If they keep coming back to Google, then Google's able to generate, billions of dollars in advertising revenue. And so they want to be serving their customers with the best possible result for whatever they're looking for, right? And so it really comes down to brand authority, right? What do you have brand authority as a gutter business? And love them or hate them, one company that we all know has brand authority is Leaf Filter, right? And I know that we all know who that is, right? Your customers know who that is. Your installers know who that is. Every gutter business owner knows who that is. We might have worked there in the past. Leaf Filter has brand authority, right? And so they've been able to curate this process of how they do business based on their brand authority. And we can see that reflected in Google as well, right? Because they oftentimes show up ahead of a lot of us because they have a lot of brand authority. Also, your verification method for your actual Google business profile. I hinted to this just a little bit ago, but the verification method has changed since, I think I never had to do this. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe three, maybe 10. I don't really know. You used to be able to receive some sort of postcard from Google with a PIN code on it. Then you would go and type that PIN code into your Google business profile, and then that would verify you. It would prove that you're at the address that you said you were at. Again, Google realized that people were kind of gaming this system and using their baby mama's house for that. And so what they did is now, if you set up a Google business profile today, what you'll have to do is go through video verification. Well, you'll be on the phone with a Google representative, right? And you will show them, you'll walk around the office, you'll show them your signage, your trucks, your office, your back of house with all of your materials, just to verify that you are who you say you are, and that you're at where you say you're at. And going through this video verification process, regardless if you've done the PIN code method in the past, or regardless if, maybe it's been a couple years since you've been verified, maybe you've had some problems in the past, going through this re-verification process can be really crucial for giving that trust signal to Google as to say, we are who we say we are. And you can see that based on this verification method. And then again, total reviews and review velocity. We know that having a lot of reviews is crucial to help us get ranked on Google Maps, right? But making sure that those reviews aren't coming hundreds at a time, right? Because if Google sees that you just got 500 reviews within the course of a few days, that screams spam, right? They're going to think, oh, spam, fake reviews, whatever. And so we want to make sure that we're getting a consistent amount of reviews on a week by week, a month by month basis, and having that velocity coming in consistently, because that's what's going to show Google that you are trustworthy and that these are real people leaving real reviews as well. Being recently unsuspended, that's actually a good thing. Sometimes when we change our business information or we upload photos or our agency changes something around or whatever it might be, Google will suspend our Google business profile, and then we will have to, it gets hidden from the results, right? And so oftentimes we'll have to go in and, fix whatever issue that they were talking about, and then also go through that re-verification process. Now, going through that re-verification process actually kind of gives you an advantage, right? It gives you a recency advantage to say, like, hey, again, this is who we are. This is, you show them all your stuff, and it gives you that recency advantage as to say, like, that it hasn't changed, right? We are here, and this is us now. So it kind of can be a bit of a good thing to have that trust signal, especially if it's been, 3, 4, 5 years since you've been verified in the past. Also, having a lot of back-end engagement is extremely important, right? So as the owner of the business, you should have the logins to your Google business profile on your phone. It's an asset. It is something that you need for your business, just like the keys to your office. It is something that you need to have as the owner of your business. Not to say that you don't have an agency like us taking care of the back-end stuff for you, but you need to have the logins, right? Because then you're able to have a lot of this back-end engagement by uploading images, updating your business information, making some sort of announcement or something, updating any holiday hours, responding to reviews, leveraging the Q&A section, etc. Having this back-end engagement shows that you are active in the industry, you are active in your business, and being active on this profile sends a huge trust signal to Google. And then obviously we want to have a completed profile, right? We want to be filling out all of the prompts, all of the sections that Google allows us to fill out on the Google business profile. We want to be filling that out and taking advantage of the full opportunity. And when I had mentioned in the beginning of the webinar where I was going to share something that I think is that delta, right? That extra piece of information that if you take advantage of and if you implement will set you apart from your competitors if you guys are all doing the same thing, right? And especially because, I feel like a lot of this is pretty fundamental, right? You've heard this before, get your name, address, phone number, right? Make sure you have lots of reviews, upload photos, right? We've heard these things before. But I wanted to share something that you haven't heard before and something that can really help give you that edge over your competition. And so if you don't take anything from this, there's two things that I hope that you take from this webinar, and this is one of them. If you don't take anything else, this and one other slide is going to be one of them. This is one. So when we're thinking about citations, right, and creating citations for our Google business profile, outside of the traditional citation method, we want to be thinking of what's going to be an authoritative link, right? Because that's what Google is looking for the most, right? How authoritative that link is. This might be completely foreign to you guys, but there's this thing called public blog networks or PBNs, right? And it's pretty much just a website that agencies use to throw content up onto and create sort of artificially create these links for your website, for your SEO, and for your Google Maps. And a lot of times this stuff it's bad news bears, right? So having these local link strategies that I'm about to go through really sets you apart and creates those authority links, unlike those PBNs. And so local sponsorships are huge. If you're not already sponsoring a local sports team or a club or a school or whatever it might be, getting into these local sponsorships that are usually relatively cost effective, sometimes, 50 to a couple $100, you can take part in these local sponsorships. And as part of the agreement, have that sports team or that school or that club pass a link to your website on their website and also give you a little bit of media exposure. And this is going to give you a significant lift in Google because that's going to be a super authoritative link for the local sports team or something like that, right? Um, Hosting community events is also really important. A good buddy of mine, Colin DeHaan, me and him talk about this all the time, about how important it is to be involved in the community, but hosting these events, participating in these events, and then syndicating those events throughout the relevant event listing platforms on Facebook or whatever else, it can drive some really authority local links. And then this is the most important one. If you don't do any of these four, do this one right here. Create a local resources page. Put on your website next to whatever other pages you might have, create a local resources page that you can list people or contractors that you currently send business to, right? So if you show up to houses and you consistently see that the grass is overgrown, you usually send them to a lawn care guy. Or if you work with a lot of roofers and you consistently refer business to these roofers, or maybe you work with a damage restoration company and you consistently refer business to that company, take all of those people that you currently refer business to today and put their business and their link to their website on this resource page, and then have them do the same for you. This is going to be a huge booster for your Google business profile and your SEO in general, because those are going to be a lot of authoritative links that are going to be driving that trust signal towards Google. And it's going to be a huge vote of confidence that you are active in your industry and you're active in your community, right? Aside from helping you on Google, this will also create a lot of brand authority in your community, right? You'll have that name out there, and it'll also create another channel for revenue, which is referral business, right? It'll help you in because organic is your lowest cost, highest quality lead when it comes to marketing, but when it comes to everything, referrals are your lowest cost and highest quality, right? And so the more that we can improve upon our referral business, the better. And so having a local resource page like this is an extremely profitable way that you can help, both on Google and in your community. And then also doing this with various associations. I know that, once you join some associations, they usually let you put, some sort of profile or website link up on their website. And these tend to be relatively authoritative because it's, the National Rain Gutter Association or the National Builders Association, whatever might have you. So I'm going to dive in deep into some of the proven formula that I talked about before. But again, I'm just going to check in real quick. Give me a 1 in the comments or in the chat if I'm, just talking your ear off and not making any sense, and give me a 10 if this is the best thing you've ever heard. And while all of you do that, I'm actually going to see if I can grab a charger for my laptop here. Awesome. Thank you. I'm getting some good numbers here. Sweet. Okay, so we obviously want to be claiming and optimizing our Google business profile listing, right? As I had mentioned, you want to have your Google business profile logins. This is an asset, and as the owner of your business, you should have these logins. You also want to be updating your company name to read just company name, right? Don't add any keywords, don't add any cities, unless this is a legally backed change that is in your DBA or in your legalized name, because you can get in trouble with this. It's strictly listed in Google's rules and regulations that you shouldn't do anything other than your legal company name. As well, adding your website address, it's a really important inbound link for your website. And like I said, it also helps provide that context if you have your on-page SEO dialed in for your Google business profile. And also using a localized number, right? Some of us might serve a multi-county area. I know some of you might serve a whole state, but having a local number and not a 1-800 really helps send that trust signal to Google and say, yes, I am a local business here to serve local customers, right? And a local number helps do that along with a local address, right? No PO boxes, no UPS stores, no baby mama, no baby daddy houses. We want to make sure that we're using a local address in our Google business profile listing. Also, uploading photos consistently and as many as you can, right? Photos on your Google business profile are a huge asset that I see a lot of gutter businesses missing on. And when you think about it, your customers want to do business with someone that they know, someone they like, and someone they trust, right? So if you're able to come in and provide these photos that help increase those three things, you're more likely to earn the business and you're more likely to get a happy customer, right? So you can upload things like iPhone taken pictures because Google prefers iPhone pictures rather than like the high professional photos. Take personal photos, take pictures of the trucks, take pictures of the installers doing their job, take pictures with happy customers, right? Stand next to a customer, give them a good old handshake and take a picture and upload it, right? Take pictures of completed jobs, trucks, the office staff, the whole team together. There's tons of things that you can do, but make sure that you're taking these photos and videos authentically, right? This is a huge asset that I think that you guys can use. And you can repurpose them too. It's not just for your Google business profile. You can use it for your website. You can use it for all your social medias. And that just helps drive that trustability, right? Also, listing your hours of operations and services offered. A lot of us might only be listing one or two services like just gutter installation or just gutter cleaning. You really want to be listing all of them, right? Let people know everything that you do in your Google business profile and also your hours of operation. But one thing that I see a big miss on is um, some of us might have some sort of call center or overflow voicemail center that allows us to answer the phone 24/7. If you can answer the phone and if you can gather customer information 24/7, I would list your hours as 24/7. That way, whenever someone is searching for your business or for gutter services, you show up as open, right? And you're going to show up quickly. So making sure that you have that dialed in is really important, and also updating for holiday hours, right? That also goes back to some of that back end engagement. Some of the best practices when it comes to this stuff, you want to be updating your photos consistently, right? It is not hard. It is something that is very easy to do, especially if you have the app on your phone. Update your photos consistently, throw up at least one per week, right? But you don't want to just have 12 of them and throw them up and call it a day, right? Putting them up consistently is extremely important, along with Google Posts, right? Google allows you to post on your Google business profile valuable content, announcements, whatever it might be. You want to be doing this minimum one every 90 days. Ideally, it should be one per week, right? We should have no reason why we shouldn't be doing it once per week. But if you're just extremely strapped for time and you don't got anything and you don't know how to do anything, minimum one every 90 days, right? As well, you should be responding to all reviews, good or bad, right? I know that sometimes customers can get a little hasty. I know that things can get a little feisty, whatever it might be, but making sure that you're staying professional and that you're handling these situations in a professional manner is extremely important, right? Because I'm a firm believer of mistakes or angry customers are not a bad thing. They're actually an opportunity for you to win, because having an angry customer, having a bad review, and responding to it in a professional way that shows that you truly care about the customer at hand almost creates a better experience than not having any bad reviews or any angry customers at all, because people understand that mistakes happen, right? And if you're able to respond to it and able to act on it in a professional and caring way, people are way more likely to go with your business than if you just had no bad reviews and it was all 5 stars and everything was puppies and rainbows, right? Also leveraging the Q&A section. This is another huge miss that I see people not using. Some of us might not even be getting questions coming into the Q&A section. That's okay, because what we can do is I would also recommend going to your salesman, right? Going to a salesman and saying, hey, can you go on your phone and go on your profile and post some questions to our Google business profile? And then you as the owner go in and answer them, right? Because the salesman, those are the ones that are out there talking with everyone every day. I mean, we as salesmen, I was a salesman, right? We meet with prospects day in and day out, and we're getting these questions every single day. And so the salesman knows what these customers are asking, and then you're able to go in there and kind of post these questions that you know these consumers might be asking. Second on our proven formula, we want to be building consistent citations and consistent name, address, phone number throughout the web, right? And so obviously, we want to have a lot of citations throughout the web. This comes from all of those third-party listing sites like Yelp, like Better Business Bureau, like Nextdoor, like Foursquare, all of these other ones, right? But we want to make sure that in those citations, we're getting consistent reference of the company's name, address, and phone number. There's some tools that you can use to help you dial a lot of this in that I'm going to share in a little bit. And you also want to limit the duplicate slash incorrect business information that's being put onto these citations, right? Sometimes, we do this ourselves and then we might hire someone else to do it and then they might have sucked and so we might have hired someone else to do it and that sloppy last agency won't go through and make sure that there's no duplicates, make sure that there is consistency throughout. And so you have, 4 or 5 profiles on some of these listings and all of them are incorrect or all of them are different, right? That can be significantly hurting your Google Map rankings. And this might be completely foreign to you guys, but you want to be paying attention to these data aggregators, right? So there's 4 companies that kind of fuel the internet with data and fuel all of these citation and listing sites with your company data, right? And so if we think about what's the easiest way that we can get that name, address, phone number consistency and that business information consistency, we want to go to the top of the funnel, right? We want to go to the top where people are getting their information from. So I would pay attention to these data aggregators and making sure that the data that's listed with those aggregators is the correct data because that's what's going to get funneled out to all of these other listing sites and all of the new ones that come up, as they do because everyone pulls from these 4 sites. Some of the best tools for this, you can use Bright Local. That's a really popular one, especially in the agency space. Whitespark is also great. Advice Local, Moz, and Yext. These are all great tools that you can use to help ease some of this process so you don't have to go to 150 different listing sites by yourself and log in and change things. Some of the best practices when it comes to citations, manually claiming and optimizing your Google business profile is first. We want to do that first thing and foremost. Using a tool like Yext or another tool for a direct API into the most popular citation listing sites is important. Some people don't like Yext because it costs a monthly fee and they take your stuff down if you cancel, whatever. All I know is Yext has a direct link to the most popular citation sites, and having that consistency and having those citations has a direct impact on your rankings on Google Maps, right? So if I have that information with me and I know that I can control that, that's a no-brainer for me, right? Getting listed in those major data aggregators is super important. Start at the top of the funnel, right? Don't go through and try and fix every single one at the bottom. Start at the top. And also leveraging a tool like Bright Local Citation Finder to find those niche listing opportunities. Because a lot of us are listed in some of these basic ones, right? But if you really want to get that edge above your competitor, use a tool like Bright Local Citation Finder to find those niche listing opportunities that your competitors might not be using, and that might give you that step up. Third, remember when I said that there was 2 slides or 2 really important parts that if you don't take anything else from the training, it's this. First thing was the local link strategies. Second is this whole section that I'm about to talk about with reviews. We want to be getting lots of real reviews, right? I emphasize real reviews because there's some tools out there and there's some things out there that you can pay for, like on a per review basis, to get fake reviews, right? I do not recommend this. Google has detailed information on every Google account, Gmail account that's ever been used, whether it's being used to, watch YouTube or search or do all these things. And so this is you're playing with fire if you do this. So do not invest in any sort of fake review request system, but you want to be leveraging tools to request a review after every job. I'm going to talk in a little bit about how you can actually be getting more reviews, but leveraging tools to automate the processes to request reviews after every single job, no matter if it's cleaning, no matter if it's a $50,000 copper job, you want to be requesting a review after every single one. One of the ways you can do this is leaving a printed review card whether it's with your salesman or with your installers, leaving a card that has some sort of QR code or a link to the website that they can go to leave a review that'll take them directly to your Google business profile, super helpful, right? Because it starts to plant that seed and it starts to have that forward momentum for them to be able to leave you a review. But you want to train your installers to plant that seed and deliver a world-class experience, right? You're not going to be getting 4 and 5-star reviews if you can't deliver a world-class experience that starts from when you answer the phone, right? If you can't answer the phone and it takes them 5 tries to get a hold of you, and when you do answer the phone, it's 1, 2, 3 gutters, that's not a world-class experience, right? You want to be providing a world-class experience from start to end, from first phone call to the second you guys leave their property after the job is done, right? Because that is how you get 4 and 5-star reviews from everybody. Making a call after the install to walk them through the review process, this really works. This works really well if you do leave that printed review card, because then you can say, hey, I saw John that installed your system today, just got back in the office, and he had mentioned that he left you one of our printed review cards. I know that they can be kind of complicated. Not everyone really gets QR codes. So why don't I walk you through the process of how to actually leave us a review? Doing this is going to incentivize them to leave you a review much more than just leaving the card. Some people might actually really want to leave a review and they just forget. So this is a great way to remind them. Also, building reviews and recognition in the company culture is huge. We can have all the systems, we can have all the processes we want, but if it's not baked into the brains of our company, of our employees, we're out of gas, right? It's not going to work because once you start to recognize the people that are getting the most reviews and sharing that information with the team and understanding that getting great reviews means that you're doing your job extremely well, that team starts to step up. Those installers start to step up, and it starts to become a company culture that really focuses on the customer, right? And that's what we want to be doing. So this is how to get more reviews consistently, right? Consistently. A lot of us might have some processes already in place, but these are things that you can do to take it to the next level. You want to automate an email to send after every single job. Like I said, it doesn't matter how big the job is, create some automation to send an email for a review request after every single job, right? You want to pair that with an SMS text message. A lot of us have the information, their phone numbers from them either calling us or submitting a form, that we have their phone number, so we can pair that with an SMS text message saying, hey, really appreciated you, really appreciated the business today. Thank you so much. Would you go ahead and leave us a review, right? Link to the review site. Because when you use tools to automate this, right? And it's not just Betty in the office remembering to send an email, remembering to send a text message. When you use tools to automate this, you can make it part of a process. You can make it part of a system. So Nearby Now is my favorite, but Review Buzz and Bird Eye are also really good ones. And mind blowing, right? You want to send more than one message. You don't just want to send one, because Nice Jobs, a platform that a lot of us are familiar with, came out with this research that states a majority of reviews, the most amount of reviews that a home service business gets, comes from the third message. The second most comes from the second message, and then the least comes from the first message, right? So using automation to send an email, send a text message, send a reminder voicemail to request these reviews is how you're going to be able to capture the most amount of people to send you these reviews. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about on-page SEO, right? As I had said, on-page SEO is it gives Google that context for our Google business profile, and making sure that we have all of this. I have my notes right in front of me here because this is something that I really wanted to touch on. This is something that we really need to dial in. So it all starts with a strong website that's built to convert, right? If we don't have a strong website and we don't have a website that is built to convert people into leads, then we're out of gas, right? We're not going to get anywhere with any of this. And then obviously, when it comes to on-page, we want to be optimizing our title tags, our H1 headings, our URLs, etc., to have all of the relevant keywords in them and make sure that we are staying up to date with the latest trends and keeping this up to date, especially when it comes to whatever page you linked in your Google business profile. The H1 heading for that page actually plays one of the most crucial roles in your ranking for your Google business profile, right? So is it relevant to your business? Is it relevant to what you mention in your Google business profile? Also, making sure that you have pages for each one of the services that you offer, installation, cleanings, guards, whatever it is, and also having pages for each of the cities that you serve. So your hometown, and then, the 10 surrounding cities and sub-cities that you serve around you. Super important. But making sure that you have unique content on each one of those websites. Don't just copy and paste and switch out the city name. Have unique content on each one of those pages that speaks to that exact location that you are referencing. And then you want a meta description that sells the click, right? So when you look on Google and there's the organic search results that show up, there's the link to the actual website, and then below that there's that block of text that's like a couple sentences or something. That's the meta description, and that is your opportunity to sell the person for the very first time, right? You should be selling them into clicking onto the website, creating a hook with a body and a reason for them to click on your website is crucial. So we want to have a meta description that is selling our click to the website. And then we want to have unique content that is being updated monthly. We don't just want to have a blog that sits on a site and collects dust, right? We need to be syndicating our content on a consistent basis that's unique. And you can use something like a signal engine. So what we do is we use a unique proprietary content signal engine that will send out this unique content to, local news sites and things like that, and provide you with these really high authority citations so that you're not just writing a blog, letting it sit on the website, and then hoping someone comes across it, right? So when you do this, or when we do this with our syndication method with all of these local news sites, we can create the content, and then it'll obviously link back to your service pages, link back to your Google Map embed, link back to your homepage, whatever it might be. And it generates significantly more signals to Google than just the set and forget method, right? Which is what we don't want to do. And then the last thing I wanted to cover is page speed, right? Page speed kills. It is a absolute killer for SEO and any organic related search. People neglect it, and especially in the gutter industry, we don't think it matters, right? But it does. Page speed is going to be one of the number one factors in your on-page SEO. And if you don't have a website that is built for speed, you're out of gas, right? So we want to make sure that our website is being hosted by a reputable and fast host to make sure that we can have hyper fast lightning speed website that it isn't going to drag us down. And then, so like I had said in the beginning, this all kind of fits into the accelerated growth roadmap, right? And it all kind of slides into that section of organic, right? Getting people to come to us from finding us on search. And so what I have here is, as you can see, there's a ton of different sections for the accelerated growth roadmap, right? There's organic, there's paid, there's database, there's website. And so if you want to do a check to see how you're doing in each of these categories, I have a checklist. It's the ultimate internet marketing checklist for gutter service businesses. It's free. You can download it and you can print it out and you can go through and you can see things like Google Maps, right? How are you doing on photos, right? Do you have it claimed and optimized in the proper way? Do you have consistent reviews coming in month after month? So it goes through each of the steps that we talked about today, and it also will share kind of some of those tips and tricks that you can do on all of the other aspects as well. Getting your website to convert, making sure that you're profitably tapping into paid ads, getting the automation correct, right? It goes through all of that. So I'm going to post that link in the chat here, and then I will also post it on for if anyone's watching the replay, it'll be in the description for the video and in the podcast and things like that. So you'll be able to see that there. So today we spent a lot of time, but what we covered is the latest updates with the Google Map listing at the very beginning. I shared with you what our proven model is for getting ranked in the top 3 pack, what the 5 biggest issues are that are preventing you from ranking today, and I shared some of the best tools that you can use to systematize and automate a lot of this heavy lifting so you can be focusing your time on the more important tasks. The worst case scenario for this webinar is for you to say, okay, George, that was awesome, great concept, and then go home and not change anything, right? Alex Hormozy defines we can quantify how smart someone is by their rate of learning, right? So how long it takes for them to learn new information or to gather new information and make a change, right? That is learning, and the rate at which you learn is directly correlated to how smart you are. I don't want any of you to be dummies, right? I want you to actually go home and take something from this webinar and implement it into your business. So I want you to think, what are the top 3 action items that you can actually go and implement into your gutter business that you know will have an impact on your Google Map ranking, on your ability to get leads, and on your ability to grow your gutter business, right? For some of us, that might be photos, right? You're like, man, I really should be updating my photos. I really liked his ideas there. I think we could be taking more photos on job sites and with customers and things like that. For some of us, it might be the on-page SEO. Like, yeah, man, I know my SEO has been really lacking recently, and it's something that I've been meaning to get to, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. For some of us, it could be getting more reviews, right? You might have been around for 20 years, but you only have 40 reviews on Google, which is absurd, right? Because you're doing enough volume in your business to be consistently getting high quality reviews that can really transform how people see your business. So whatever it is for you, I want you to take a pen, write it in the chat, write it in the comments, whatever it is. What are your 3 action items that you're actually going to go do and change in your business? Because we know that these things can have a positive impact. It's just, are you going to actually do them or not? And I know a lot of this stuff can be really complicated. I know that it can be kind of an information overload at times. And what I don't want you to do is not take any action because there's too much information, right? Because there's too much to do and you don't think that you don't think that you can do all of it. So you're just not going to do anything. What I would rather you do is I would rather you reach out to me, and I can help, right? I can walk you through the process. I can walk you through exactly how to make it easier, or we can talk about how Gutterwise might be able to handle it for you and how my team might be able to step in and kind of take over this side of your business. So if that's something that you want, I'm offering this free Google Maps and SEO analysis where we can go through all of these things in your business, right? We can do an analysis of what your current online visibility is, give you a ranking report showing you where you're actually showing up on Google, how you're showing up on Google Maps and in organic search. And also, we can do an analysis of your online reviews and your reputation. Are you actually getting enough reviews? Are they coming in on a consistent basis, right? What does your social presence look like? We can look at what your social media presence looks like to make sure that you're staying up with that brand authority, and then also analyzing the conversion effectiveness of your website. Is your website built to actually turn these people into interested customers, or are people just hopping off the website and going to your competitors, right? So if this is something that you're interested in, if this is something that you need help with, please feel free to give me a call at 970-707-0905, or you can use this link here, page.gutterwisemarketing.com/schedule. This will also be in the description with the podcast and the video and the replay and all of that as well. So that's all I have for everyone today. I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen here. And if anyone has any questions now, I would love to open up for that. But if not, I hope you all have a great day. And thanks for coming to the webinar.